Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we're talking love and marriage, Huntsville. You guys know why you were here. Today we're talking because Mr. Carlos King himself, Mr. Messy Monday himself, just did a live. I believe he still might be live, actually, because he had started off talking about some things from the Love and Marriage Huntsville reunion taping, which is why this video is happening. But it was interesting because he first tried to preface it by making it seem as though this is some exclusive that he's giving and that he hasn't said anything. He hasn't made any posts on social media. He hasn't talked to anybody about Love and Marriage Huntsville reunion taping when he did a post 3 days ago, you guys. And he did a slide deck of a series of different memes and clips of his reaction to the reunion taping and saying, baby, this video collage sums up the iconic reunion taping of Love and Marriage Huntsville. What a cast. Whew. Can't wait for y'all to see this one, and then promote that Reality with the King Huntsville edition foolishness, right? Maybe Carlos King is having amnesia, you guys. Maybe he's having amnesia and does not remember the things that he says or that he does, or maybe he thinks that only his raindrops are on his YouTube platform and that it's nothing but bots and trolls on his Instagram account. I don't understand how you can have that faux pas. But nonetheless, let's get into what he said, right? So, right off the top, you guys, Carlos King is like, the reunion taped over the weekend. I don't like to say things were great and fantastic and wonderful. I don't like to overhype things, but you do, Carlos. You said this was the best season ever of Love and Marriage Huntsville until the backlash and the low ratings and the episode that was too low of the ratings to even be reported. So you did that this season, Carlos. You really tried to sell the people a dream. And then have the audacity to have Martel in a white suit in the cast photo presented as an angel when he gets arrested. No. So you do overhype. You always overhype, Carlos, because you want the people to tune in. But your definition of overhype and everything else, it always ends up flopping. So he says now that he does not want to grade just yet. He wants to see how all parts work, i.e. wants to see how the reunion's going to be edited. Let's just call it for what it is. Even though you say the show's not edited, even though you say that people cannot be edited, and that everything is one long reel, is one long reaction, even though we can clearly see spliced in reactions, we can clearly see cut segments, cut conversations, and all the things, but you're basically saying you want to see how it's edited to see who looks good and who doesn't before you give an official grade, or you're waiting to see the fan reaction before you give an official grade, to see whether or not people are going to be supportive of who your faves were. I can read between the lines, Carlos. I know what you're saying and what you're not saying, right? And so then Carlos King said that everybody in the cast clocked in, that people are going to be surprised at who clocked in the most. Not sure what that means, because it's pretty much the same every reunion. The same people usually clock in that are supposed to. And then you see the people who are desperate, that done nothing all season, that overdo it at the reunion because they're trying to save their jobs. And then you just have people that are just blending in with the furniture no matter what. Or try to give you a couple of interesting sound bites, and then they fade into the furniture with everyone else. So then said as well, now, why did he have to say that the person that clocked in particular was quote-unquote hard-bodied? Did I hear that correctly? Did he call the person hard-bodied? Is that necessary? Because I'm going to tell you at the end of this who I think he's talking about there. Then he made a comment that there was special seating assignments and musical chairs, and I can't help but think
that this may have something to do with, I don't know, Martell Holt's conviction of DV harassment in the 3rd degree and the restraining order? That there had to be musical chairs, there had to be musical arrangements. Maybe Martell and Mel can't be on the same stage together. But then you still have the audacity to still employ Martell Holt. Can you make it make sense, Carlos King? And it is DV Awareness Month. When is this reunion supposed to air? May of next year? Because that's the rate that it's going when you factor in there's allegedly supposed to be 15 more episodes. We have to factor in the holiday breaks. We have to factor in the miscellaneous breaks that OWN likes to take. So that's going to take us till May of next year by the time we get this reunion, you guys. Because that's the rate that it's going. So there is that. So then Carlos King said that somebody was dragging him. Somebody was dragging Carlos King this reunion. Someone in the cast was reading Carlos King down, was throwing slick shade all day. And to be honest with you, I don't even care who it is. I do not care who was dragging Carlos King because you literally sat there on having your own show that is a conflict of interest, Messy Mondays, in which you're insulting your own cast and you're insulting the fans that watch the show. So how are you going to be surprised that somebody is going to turn around and read you at the reunion if they have receipts of you dragging them on your YouTube show? Can you make it make sense? Why did you think that you were going to be exempt? This is why it's a conflict of interest for you to still be the host of the reunion, because there is no professionalism. There is no boundaries. I can't believe you are shocked that you couldn't believe somebody was reading you. No. But it's okay for you to read the cast every week. Or read certain cast members that you want to get dragged and that you want to see get the backlash, you guys. So Carlos King says he did not realize that he was getting dragged and that he was getting read by this particular cast member until later on, and said that he may not be on time with the shenanigans, but that he is never late, and wanted to point it out that it was a female. And see, again, this is already going to be a setup. Carlos King always does this. He always says, oh, I'm not going to say the name. I'm not going to say X, Y, and Z, but you know what you're doing. You are setting this up for women in the cast to get dragged. But then you'll get on your platform and you'll cry wolf for the females that you that you prefer over others and that you want to protect. We've seen this movie before, Carlos King. We've seen this script before. We know how it's going to end, right? But basically, Carlos King, once he realized he was getting read by this cast member, this female cast member, he took a step back. He put his hands up, and saw him getting him together, took a step back or whatever, and said, bring it on, and wanted to say how much fun that he had this reunion, and wanted to say that he was so giddy, this reunion in particular, and that the cast members said at different points, why do you even have cue cards in your hands? Why are you even asking us questions from the cards or holding those cards in your hand when you're just reading us anyways? And nonetheless, people in the chat at that point were going crazy. We're trying to drop names of who Carlos was talking about that was dragging him at the reunion, and then Carlos King's tone kind of changed. So I don't know if that meant that one of the guests in there was the person he was talking about, but then, tried to redirect and basically said that he was not going to say the name of the person that was dragging him. But obviously you felt a certain way because you wanted it mentioned to the people. You wanted that out in the forefront so that the blogs can report on it. So whenever this reunion airs, which is looking like May of 2025, you want that receipt out there, right? So we already know, we're already up on game, right? And so then with that being said, what happened, and this is where I kind of have my suspicion on who I think it is. Because he said essentially what happened was the line of questioning was pertaining to this particular season, right? So this wasn't a rehash or regurgitation of things from seasons past, right? So he's saying specifically that this particular female cast member is asking questions from this particular season. Then wants to claim and allege that he's a journalist and shouts out Portia. No. A journalist is not conducting themselves the way that you're conducting yourselves, Carlos. Let's keep it a buck, right? But Carlos King said something that made me think this was a newer cast member that is not familiar with how reunions go. And he said basically that, you know, whenever he would ask a question, basically the person got defensive if he asked a follow-up question. And that, you know, if they didn't like the follow-up question or whatever, that they checked him. And so that told me that there's really only been two people who've been doing the most on social media over these past several weeks, in particular, that have this whole defensive demeanor, that have this whole "it's me against the world" nonsense, and I'm about it nonsense, that we'll get to in a moment, right? But said that there was a lot of special guests that were there. Overall, wanted to give the reunion a 10 out of 10, even though he said at the beginning he wasn't going to rate it. I don't think Carlos King remembers half the things that he says anymore. I truly do not, because everything you do and you say is a walking contradiction, and I just don't understand. Says that everybody came prepared. He said that everybody on the cast got off what they needed to say, got everything off of their chest. Said that everybody came with receipts. Said that even some people, you know, there were so many receipts overflowing that people left to go get receipts. So not sure if that meant that people were leaving in the middle of the reunion to go get receipts, or that people left after the reunion taped to go get receipts. But basically everybody was prepared. Basically said that it was on the level of you being at Target or Walmart or CVS and having tons of receipts, and that lots of the cast members were, the cash register and all these things, and then he said somebody had an epic fail of a receipt and wants the people to wait and see who it is, and said that he loves them, but the receipt failed. And there's only one person I can think of as well that this could only be, that has a history of receipts failing majorly, and said that they took 20 minutes to try to get this receipt, and the receipt ended up not receipting, you guys. The receipt ended up not working for them at all, you guys. And how embarrassing and how much of an epic fail. So with that being said, he said that the reunion, they taped for 12 hours, you guys. So I hope it's no more than 3 parts. We don't need a 5-part reunion like Marceau is suggesting. We really do not, I promise you guys. So who do I think was reading him? I actually think it's a tie if Shanita's there. I think it's between her and Sunny, but I'm gonna go with Sunny, because I feel like Sunny, because here's the reason. These are my guesses, right? I feel that Sunny, because she's not used to the reality TV side of things from a cast member perspective, that because there's already going to be, the block is going to be hot with all of this Moses stuff and this Moses, Destiny, and Sunny stuff, that she is going to want to come in hot at this reunion. And if she's already going to feel, that Tisha's gonna have Destiny's back, that Stormy's gonna have Destiny's back, and possibly Kimmy's gonna have, Destiny's back, and all these things, Sunny is going to want to insert herself and assert herself. And if she feels that Carlos King is coming in on the gang up, or feeling as though he's trying to drag her in his line of questioning, then she's going to start to get defensive or not answer the questions that they need to be asked. The only reason why I don't feel like it would be Shanita in that regard, if she's like one of the special guests, is because she's used to how the reality TV thing goes, and she doesn't seem to care about her reputation and doesn't seem to care how she's perceived or how she's portrayed or any of these things. So I actually don't think that it's her. Which actually is interesting considering how she's been behaving. But I could see it being a newer cast member, and my money is on Sunny. My money is on Sunny. Because I feel like I said, she is going to be the one to assert herself. I don't feel like it's an existing cast member, because I feel like an existing cast member knows how it's going to go. And if we're keeping it a buck, the core 6, they didn't have any major storylines this season. The storylines revolved around Sunny, Moses, and Destiny, and Trisha, Ken, Martel, and Marquez, you guys. So that's my guess there. The person who I feel had an epic fail of receipt is none other than Martel Holt. I mean, we just literally witnessed an epic fail of a receipt with this crash out over Mel's bodyguard. So if that is even being presented at the reunion as any type of a receipt, then it's going to be a fail. It's going to be an epic and utter disaster. It's going to be an epic and utter embarrassment, you guys. And I hope that tomfoolery is not brought to the reunion stage at all, because people are going to have egg on their faces, you guys. Lots of eggs on their faces. But, that essentially was that, you guys. Like I said, Carlos King is not going to let go of Love and Marriage Huntsville. He's not. No matter how trash the ratings are, people see this as the show on OWN. People see this as, quote unquote, the #1 show on OWN when Ready to Love's not airing. So nonetheless, you know, no matter how much people are tuning out, no matter how much people are over the shenanigans, when Carlos feels that it is time to prove to the network and prove to the sponsors and prove to his raindrops that this is the show, even though I think he secretly prefers Bell Collective, but he understands that Love and Marriage Huntsville is what's keeping the lights on at the moment. So nonetheless, he does this big show, he does this big presentation to try to sell to the people to tune in to this reunion. But the thing is, this reunion is not going to air for another 6 months. By the time, you know, this reunion comes around, we're going to be exhausted. Because didn't you say there's 15 episodes that need to air? And we have to factor in the miscellaneous breaks. We have to factor in the miscellaneous, holiday breaks, or when Carlos King wants to take his own sabbaticals and take time to spend more time reviewing Bravo shows and all those things. We have to take into account all factors, you guys. So, like I said, I'm projecting in May of 2025 reunion special. It's probably realistically going to be February or March, but I'm projecting May with how the shenanigans are going. Unless they're going to cut these 15 episodes. Because really there should only be like 6 or 7 episodes, and then we need to just cut to the reunion and just have these reunion episodes air in January and keep it moving. But these wonky schedules, these wonky breakdowns of the seasons are so exhausting, you guys. And it's like enough is enough already. So there is that. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.